Howdy, this is James Harmon with my new 3D printing channel. And so I've been 3D printing since 2020. So it was like May or June of 2020, and my wife's like, we should get our kids a 3D printer for Christmas. And so we're like, oh, okay. So I'm like, why wait? Because I had COVID in June of 2020, so I ordered a Creality LD-002R Pro. It was like $500. It showed up, and it's a FDM printer, like PLA type printer where it extrudes it out. And I got it, and it just wasn't working right. So I was like, okay. So I returned it through Amazon, great. And so within a certain time period, they sent me a new one, sent that one back, and it worked a lot better, but it wasn't ever able to do anything really 3D like it did. You know, like little stuff, and it would just mess up. If I left it overnight, because some prints take a while, it would mess up and spin around. I've changed the nozzles, I've cleaned the nozzles out. It was cool because I was using glow in the dark PLA. I was using wood, where there's actually wood grains in it, and that was awesome, but it just wouldn't print good. So I just we boxed it up. It's been in the garage. It was taking up a lot of space near our computer, and it's like, oh man, my wife's like, we got this printer, we're not using it, so it's been in the garage ever since. And so in June, end of June, I had to go to Micro Center, awesome place in Dallas, to buy some laptop hard drives. That, different story that way, but I really wanted a 3D printer. And so I've been watching these videos about a resin printer, and I was like, oh man, it's probably expensive. They look really small compared to mine, because I think the LD-002R Pro is like 200 by 200 by 250 millimeters or something like that, like big. It's huge, or 250 by 300 tall millimeters. So I'm like, it had a big working area. It just would mess up all the time. I tried re-leveling it. It's just like, it's not a turnkey. It's not a take it out of the box, put it together, and then it would never work properly. So I was with my child, and we got some hard drives, 500 gigs, just for these laptops. And then so I walked over to the STEM area, where I'm a nerd. I like to build things and think about things. So I bought a resin printer. It's the LD-002R, and so it has a small working area, but I bought it for like $199. I was like, dude, that's pretty cheap. That's awesome. So $199. I bought some resin. I keep saying filament, but resin. I bought this grass green color right here, and so it's cool. It messed up a couple times, but it's mostly just turnkey. You got to get the bed level just right, and if you don't have it right, it'll do whatever. So what it does is has this liquid resin and a TV screen, and it just puts out UV rays, and it hardens this resin layer upon layer, and it builds it up upside down. So I was like, just the thought of it is like, cool. So it's like $199. I was using green, and then I went back another time, and I bought black and white. And so I was like, you know what, I've been wanting clear and like maybe a different color, because I really like the green. And so we went today. So I went June 30th, and today is August 11th, 13th, I can't read. And so August 13th, so I show up in the STEM area, because I was wanting to buy clear, and we chose a different green, like iridescent green, or translucent green. And so another guy was buying one of these, and he had a cart with a couple things of resin, and I saw him buy a PLA, the spool kind, and he's like, I'm like, hey, this doesn't work with it. He's like, oh, I have one in the home, I just want resin. And then he's like, you can't beat $99. I was like, $99? I paid $199. They're all at this location? I was like, yeah. So I talked to an employee, and then he's like, yeah, go ask. So I went up to the cashier, and they're like, yeah, we'll credit that full amount back. So they credited it back, not knowing that I was going to buy another one. So I really pretty much didn't pay any extra, because they credited it back. So it was $199. They gave me back $100 plus tax. So I bought this for $99. So I really saved like $1. So now I have number 2, and I was like, oh man, I want to do an unboxing video because I want to get deeper into 3D printing, possibly make money from it. I've been watching videos on how to do that. So here it is. So this is an LD-002R printer, and so it's pretty awesome. So let's just unbox it. And so I don't have scissors, so I'm using my keys. Take it off this way. Not good. Left-handed. Okay, so I got it open. Down. And it comes with awesome cardboard. I don't need it. It comes with a power cable. Looks like just like a regular PC cable. Very thick, high grade. And it comes with a tool bag. It has like a putty knife to scrape it off because it's metal. And it adheres very tight against the build plate. So you need to sometimes chip it. I've like not being careful. I accidentally slipped and sliced my finger. Started bleeding. But it comes with a plastic little string thing, little brush. It comes with a couple funnels with mesh strainers. And so when you change colors, I kind of just leave the color in there. They say you're not supposed to. It comes with a USB drive, which is good because you see my Ender 5 Pro micro SD, and I had to like put it in the computer, be careful, and if you didn't get it just right, you couldn't get it in. So it's kind of a pain back and forth, but this comes with the USB. It's slow. So you go to the software, it's a Cheeto box. It comes with it. It tells Slicer, it tells it what to do as far as, you know, you could edit it, add supports and stuff like that, but you click slice. It takes forever, loads up, and then it's all, do you want to save yes, and it's like a writing file. And you can see the thing flashing, but if you pull it out too quick, go off. Say I keep it in the garage because the resin has a odor, like a chemical odor. So I leave it in the garage, so I go to the computer inside the house, and if I don't wait long enough, that file isn't written on that drive. So you pull it out. I've done it probably 10 times. Oh man, so I just like wait till it quits flashing. Okay, pull it out and then go do it. And it's really cool because the screen will actually see on the Ender 5 Pro you had to use this dial, and it was kind of like a very pixelated. This one's actually a color screen. You can see the 3D models on there. So you click on the save file, it actually show what it looks like before you do it. So it's actually pretty cool. You can choose it that way. And so it comes with that, it comes with the book, it comes with Allen wrenches because you have to level it. There's like 3 different sizes of Allen wrenches here. Yeah. Looks really cool. So that means I have 2 of them. So it says you can save $10 off of the next purchase. I just go to Micro Center because it's easy, it's available. But if you want different colors and different things like that, go online, I guess. So it comes with this foam. Pull the foam out. Okay. So I'm gonna pull this out. It's very tight. It's very packed very well too. Oh, there's the whole thing all in one bag. Pull this out. Okay. That's pretty much everything. Okay. If you can see that, that's the whole entire printer. And it's packed very good, very well. So let's turn it upside down. And it's built very rugged. Like it has a fan down here to keep the processor cool and to keep it cooler because there's like a screen. There's all these components inside of it. And man, wow, it's like it's on there good. It is really good. So take this bag off. So like so, let's put it all back in the box. Lift the cover off. This protects the UV rays from getting in and getting out. So don't burn your eyes. And if it's exposed to sunlight, it'll actually cure the resin when you don't want it to. So let's go like this. Yeah, there we go. So So there's the printer. Has a screen right here, very easy to use. There's a leveling part, and there's down in here behind this little thing is a screen, and it shows a light, UV light, and it lets it cure, and it goes up and down, cure, goes up, back, down to build up the layers. And so there's a fan right here to actually pull out the toxins, and it goes through a filter, so you're not breathing that in, but it's very ruggedly built, and it's awesome for the price. And if you want a bigger build plate, you'd have to, of course, buy a bigger printer. But if you make small stuff like figurines and stuff like that, it's totally fine. So let's go. It's very tight. So here is the build plate. It's not very big. But that's what it adheres to, the resin. So you go like that. Problem is, this is in the way. So it's very easy. Just go like this. Actually, I'm gonna have to plug it in to get it to go up. But yeah, so you put this build plate in. There's a little screw part right here. So it's very easy. So it goes down in the vat. So it gets resin all the way up in here, which is messy. I've always had to like wash it off, like wipe it. I have like toilet paper outside in the garage to help, like paper towels, clean it off before you pull it up. Then you undo it and you chip off your project. And so that's it. And so I bought this time, see, this is standard resin, standard green. This is called grass green. But this time I bought water washable resin, and it's translucent green. But according to the box, where's it at? $34.99. But when I bought it at Micro Center, $21.99. Then this one I bought clear, and this is ABS-like. So they probably have a different feel. I haven't used it yet, but it's clear. Can't even see the color. It's awesome. And so it's ABS-like resin, but this is normally $21.99. I got it for $19.99. So saved a lot of money. And of course you got to spend the money to save the money, but it's better than what it was. Plus they were gracious and credited me back that amount of money. So now I have 2 printers, and I have a washing station outside. I'll show different videos for that. And so here's some of my projects that I've been working on. So there's a thing called the lithophane, which it prints it very thin, but with the light shine behind it, it'll actually show an image. So I'm a big nerd. So let me get my camera on, my light on. So I'm a big nerd. I love Lord of the Rings. I listen to the books while driving. I do air conditioning, so I'm driving all the time. I've already listened to them probably like 7 or 8 times complete, and it's very good. And so a couple years ago I did a PLA version of it, and so it was really cool. But here's my lithophane. I don't know if you can see it, but I got the light behind it. It's too bright, but you can see it's Lord of the Rings. It's actually really cool. So it's the Fellowship, has all 9 of them there. And then I love Zelda, Legend of Zelda. So I got that. I built that. It's like the Master Sword right there. So we had a power outage, and so I was printing. It's only a 22-minute print, but I thought it finished prematurely. But you can see that right there. So I ran out of this green, so I have black, so I put black in there to test it out, and you can see there's black, and it printed exactly the same, so it must have been done. You can see the detail of the leaves. It's really cool. There's a program on that. I'll probably do a tutorial on how I did that. And then, let's turn my light off. Then I printed Link with supports, but for some reason it was like squashed because I was messing with the settings, which you don't want to mess with the settings, but I messed with the settings and it squashed it halfway. But the head is so heavy because of the hat that it would just fall over. So you can see the sword right there, Link's, like cartoon Link. Then I built keychains. So you can see it's Legend of Zelda keychains. I could print 3 at a time. So whatever the build plate is and the layer height, you can just fill it up. And it doesn't take any longer as long as it's on that build plate. And so with a regular nozzle printer, 3D printer, if you have put more stuff on there, it takes longer because it has to fill in each line, move over, fill in each line. But this, it just builds it upside down, all these layers. And I built some dice, 20-sided dice, but I like the feel of the bigger dice in my hand. So when I originally did it, I was trying to copy the model in the slicing software, but I accidentally mirrored it. And so these are actually backwards. These two are backwards. So the numbers, the 16, it looks backwards. So once we figured it out, I printed these out regular. So I play with my kids. I'm like, okay, pick a number. So I have 4 20-sided dice. Right there, built some bigger dice. And so those are some of my projects. I'm gonna work on different things. I'm gonna do tutorials on how to level the bed, on how I print different things. I wanna build and expand my knowledge of 3D printing. And I hope you come along with the journey with me. And I'm not sponsored by anybody. This is just my normal reactions to what's going on. And so I kind of gave up hope with 3D printing, but once I got into resin, it's actually really cool because the feel of it, like, you can't even see the lines unless you look very closely. And so the regular PLA, it's like 0.2 millimeters per level, per layer. This is 0.05, so 50 microns per layer. So it takes 20 layers to make 1 millimeter instead of 5, like the other one. So, but I like the look of the PLA if it's done properly, because you can see the lines. It's kind of plays with your mind, like it feels good. With this, you can't even see it, and it makes like a different, softer texture, like a plaster of Paris type texture. Some people say chalky, but it's smooth. And so I'm gonna try these different resins. They make different resins. They make some jewelry resins, jewelry casting resins. They make water-based. They make plant-based. No, not water-based, water washable, which is right here, water washable. They make plant-based ones, care about the environment. They make like different ones. And so I want to work with all of them. And so with my 2 3D printers, I'm going to get to work. I'll catch you next time.